Y'all, it's the first podcast. We made it. Welcome to the very first Don't Be Dumb podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Torres, and I'm so excited. It has been so hard to get here. It's been a whirlwind. Let me tell you about it. But today's episode is going to start off strong. We're going to be talking about... If you were watching this visually, you might have just seen that the quality went from extremely good to an iPhone 13. Listen, my camera, my Sony a6400, that was like almost $1,000. I think it was $1,000. Well, the internal temperature is too hot, and it keeps doing that. It keeps shutting off on me. So you know what? You're going to get raw Deanna. You're going to get iPhone 13 front camera Deanna. I will fix it at some point. But I think it's getting really hot in here because I am starting this podcast. I really have nothing. I'm starting from zero and working my way up. I don't have a quiet space in my life. So I'm currently recording this podcast in my car, and it is so hot. It's really like 75 degrees outside and it feels phenomenal. But inside my car, I'm dying right now. But like I said, for my very first podcast, I was trying to start off strong because I really want to touch basis on the origin story of this podcast, why I'm doing what I'm doing, how I got here now, and how I listened to the signs and how I was able to interpret them and actually like put it to use and put it to good work. Because do we always listen to the signs given to us? No. We might listen, but we don't act on it. And I'm going to show you how you can act on it and how I got to this point right now. So, little backstory. I created this podcast a year ago, okay? I was like up super late at night, like 3 a.m. My ADHD brain did not let me go to sleep because I got an idea. So, I started like writing down so many ideas for a podcast. I was like, ooh, I got some stuff that I could teach people. I got some stuff that I've been through. I made like a notes page with like 100 bullet points. Like, it was wild. I have like so many episodes ready. I named the podcast Metamorphosis because I was like, oh, cute, you know, like transformation. Like, I transformed my life a lot. So that's kind of what this is going to be about. I put that in my notes page and then I forgot about it. Again, ADHD brain. This is what we do. I really kind of like put that idea on the back burner and I was like doubting myself a lot. I was like, nah, I'm just whatever. I'm not going to do it. Fast forward, I find it a year later, like exactly a year later in my notes page. And I'm like, oh, wow, I really need to start this. I started talking to God a little bit more. Before in my life, I did not love Jesus. I did not listen to God. Now I'm converted. I can tell that story in a really good podcast later. But anyway, so I started getting like really deep into this. I was like, I feel like I have to do this podcast. I feel like I have to reach people, to build a community, help others through what I've learned in the past, right? Because girl, my life is messy. Was messy. Should state that out. It was a hot, steamy mess. A hot, steamy pile of crap. Anyways, so I talked to God and I was like, okay, listen, I really want to do this podcast. Can you just please give me a huge sign that I should do this? So I decided to ask for a butterfly. I was like, show me a butterfly. The next day, I got shown a butterfly and I was like, oh, cute. Okay, but I really don't know, you know? Like sometimes they'll give you signs and you're like, but really, is it you? Let me tell you, these next 2 months, I was attacked with butterflies. I'm telling you, I was seeing them outside my window in my house. I was seeing them in movies and pictures and social media. I was seeing them outside at the gym. I was seeing them outside while I was driving on the highway. And I'm like, little butterfly, what are you doing here on the highway? There's no trees. There's no pollen for you. So that was a sign. I was like, I knew. You're pushing it to me. Because I was seeing literally like 1 to 10 butterflies. Like they were just swarming me. Like God could have just shoved a butterfly down my throat. And I would have been like, really? You sure it's still you? But anyways, I asked for one last one. And I was like, God, I'm kind of dumb. Like we both know my intelligence isn't the highest. Smartness wasn't a gift bestowed upon myself, which is really funny for the title of this podcast. Kind of goes hand in hand. Anyways, yes, so I'm like, okay, send me one more. Please, Really, one more right now, like in the next 1 second. Just send me a good one. The most beautiful butterfly that you've ever sent me, just give it to me. And I was sitting in my car, and I kid you not, 0.2 seconds. A butterfly was just flying around my windshield. I was at a red light. It was just dancing around, just. And I said, oh, that's number 1562. Okay, I'll listen. And you know what was so cute? Is that when I asked for a butterfly, like I didn't even put two and two together that I asked for a butterfly, and I had also named the podcast Metamorphosis a year ago. I was like, man, when I found that out, I was like, oh, that's so funny. So I really felt like that should have been the title of the podcast, right? But everything kept just like going wrong. It just like the video wouldn't be good, or like I just wasn't talking well, or I didn't like the vibe, I didn't like my delivery. Like so many things were just, it was like little things, like annoyances were just getting in my way. Like today with a freaking camera. But anyways, like little annoyances kept popping up, and then I just had a thought. I was like, you know what? Something needs to change. And then, I had the epiphany of renaming the podcast Don't Be Dumb. Because I was like, okay, Metamorphosis 1 doesn't feel right in my mouth. Metamorphosis. It doesn't feel right in my mouth. I don't like the way that I speak those words. I might be slightly autistic. That's beside the point. But I didn't like it. I felt like that name sounded way too serious for me. I just like wasn't about it. I thought of Don't Be Dumb because I'm like, one, my whole life, everyone's called me dumb. It's just my thing. I'm a little ditzy Deanna. People always call me Dory. I'm a little stupid. But also, I was really dumb in my past. And that's the whole basis of this thing, is I want to teach you through the lessons that I've learned and the things that I've done not to be dumb like me. I just felt like that was really cute, and it's like girly, and like I love the art that I made for it. Like it just made me feel so much better. I was feeling good. So I renamed it, I rebranded it, filmed the first episode, and girl, I filmed the first episode and my microphone was set on an echo setting. I said, hello. Welcome to my first podcast, guys. But all of these little annoyances, little setbacks just kept coming. And I was just like, ugh. So we're here now. And yes, I have another annoyance with my camera. But you know what? I'm still doing it. I'm still pushing through it. I need to get it done. But listen, this is why I want to tell the backstory, and I want to trail into letting you know how to listen to the signs given to you, how to interpret them, and how to push through them. Like if you're in the middle of your life and you are really debating out whether or not, like what you're going to do, like a huge decision. And that's when we get kind of helpless, right? And we ask for signs. But here's the thing. You have to be ready for the outcome, because you can always get confirmation in your life for something, but actually taking that first step, that's the scariest thing. It's like if you ask somebody to marry you, you can ask the question, you can propose, but the true scary part is taking that next step and having the wedding and sharing your vows and going through marriage, right? Like you're going to have things get in your way. You're going to be scared, but you have to move your foot. You have to take that first step if you really want to see the outcome, because you really don't know the outcome. That also brings me to my next step. This is the time for you to be quiet. After you ask for this confirmation, this is a time for you to shut up. Get off of social media. Stop comparing yourself, because that's one thing I did. I was like, oh, should I start this podcast? I don't know. And I started listening to other people's podcasts. I was like, people already have this thing going on. You know, like maybe I won't be as good. I don't have a setup. I'm in my car. So it was just a lot of comparison and whatever. Don't tell anybody your plans. Not your best friend, not your mom, not your dad, not your boyfriend, girlfriend, nothing. Nobody your plans. This is between you and God. If you are getting massive signs, like in your gut, you feel like you have to do this, you have to make this step, you feel like this is the right choice. In this silence, you feel great, do it. Now you can take that first step. But here's the really, really tricky part. One, if you start feeling anxious, and I'm saying like things are getting in your way, like super hard, difficult things, it's starting to make you angry, it's starting to make you fearful, it's getting in the way of like more important things in your life, that is when you need to listen to that and be like, okay, maybe this isn't really the right decision. But on the other hand, if you start feeling excited and happy and ready, that's how you know that you are in the right? Like you're in the right realm, like you're going in the right direction. But here's the thing with excitement and anxiety also is like sometimes they can mesh. Like for instance, I'm super excited. Like as I'm talking to the camera and I'm like really making this video, I'm so excited. I love editing this. I love making the art for this stuff. I love having ideas for this podcast. I'm ready and like in my gut, I feel good. But there are times like that I'll have like little anxieties, like my camera. Little things like that, but that's life. There's always going to be annoyances. Those are annoyances. That's what I should say. But there's a huge difference between annoyances with your excitement and anxiety. Like hardcore, I'm sweating, I don't want to do this no more. So once you have those figured out and you're really like intuitive with yourself and your emotions and you're listening to yourself, that's when it becomes easy after that. And if it doesn't work out, whatever, try the other way. If you take the wrong turn in the forest, whatever, you can always go back and take the other route. It doesn't matter. As humans, and especially like in today's society now, it is so hard to make a decision because you're like, if I need to make the right decision because I'm getting older, I don't have much time. And you're like 22. Because social media really makes us believe that you need to be rich and you need to be successful before you have kids or before you get married or before you're 30. Like, no, everybody has their own internal clock. Everyone has different things going for them. They're handed different cards during their life. So why should you compare? Find your own path and change it if you need to. It's as simple as that. That is my little intro for the very first podcast today. We're going to grow together. We're going to cry together. Oh, that's what I want this podcast to be. I want it to feel like I'm sitting at a restaurant with my best friend and we're having margs and we're crying about our lives. Ooh, marged with tahini on the rim. I feel like a good lime margarita with tahini, like that makes you like talk about your trauma. That's what I want this to be, and I'm super excited for it. But before I let you go, I want to let y'all in on 2 little segments that we're going to be adding at the end of each podcast. So the first segment is I'm going to be answering some advice for you guys. Yes, we all need help. Listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. You got to make those disclaimers now. But I know my stuff. Okay, I've been through it. So I can help you with some stuff. So I really want you to comment down below or you can DM me on my Instagram. Ask me some questions, get some advice, and I'll shout you out here. But the second segment that we're going to do, I don't have a name for it yet. We'll figure that out together. But I want it to be about your achievements. Like, ooh, girl, send me some like weight loss pictures. Tell me about your new job. Oh, send me pictures of your cute little new baby or something. Just like, we need to hype each other up. We need to talk about the good stuff that's happened this year. I want this to feel like a community. I want us to build our own little bubble on the internet. And I'm super excited and I believe it's going to happen. I love you so much. And remember, don't be dumb. Bye.